Hey guys, how are you? Hope you're all doing very well. This evening I'm going to be doing a review of a drama from Belgium. This is spoken in the Flemish language, released in the year 2007, directed by Koen Mortier, and this film is called Ex Drama. And the story to Ex Drama is as follows. Every village has his band of fools, trying to get to the top, following their idols in drug habits, but staying losers till the end of their pathetic days. They all do this in the name of rock and roll. Three disabled rock musicians are looking for a drummer. Dries, a well-known writer, seems to be the right guy for the job, were it not for the fact that his only handicap is that he can't play the drums. He joins the group as a perfect but evil god walking down his mountain to play with the populace. With the arrival of this infiltrator, personal disputes and family feuds start to jeopardize the band's fragile future. Dries will manipulate them until they are willing to drink each other's blood, and their only future is written down in many punk lyrics, no future. So the movie is set in Belgium, and it's about this punk rock group called the Feminists. The Feminists are a very unique band because each of the band members has a disability, or at least they think it's a disability. One is deaf, one's got a very stiff arm that he can't bend for reasons that I'm not going to go into, and another one has a lisp. So they're all very violent individuals, and they seem to be a menace to society. But what they all share is a passion for music, and this is what has made them make this band, is so they can escape reality and do what they love doing. So the only problem is that they don't have a drummer. So this is where Dries comes along. Dries is a very famous writer who says that he wants to be a band member, but the band members say if you haven't got a disability, you can't be one of us, so you can't join. So he says his disability is that he can't play the drums. So the band think this is a little bit strange, but because he's so popular, because this writer is so well known, they decide to let him in. But what they don't realise is that Dries has a hidden motivation for joining the band that involves manipulating them to the point where it not only threatens to destroy the band, but also the band members as people. So what Dries is up to and what happens to the band is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on Ex Drama. When you say provocative, when you say disgusting, despicable, absolutely repulsive, bizarre, degrading, humiliating, Ex Drama fits all of those categories perfectly. This is a very extreme film, but what makes it so much better than a lot of other extreme films is that it's not made just to provoke a response. The problem with the Serbian film is that it felt like it just wanted attention. It felt like a juvenile attempt at creating as much noise as possible to get a reaction. And I can understand, that is a stroke of genius on his behalf, the director of the Serbian film, because it got what he wanted, and that was attention. Whereas this movie has flown under the radar a little bit because it's not trying as hard to create that sort of angry response. And the reason why it's not trying as hard is because it wants to create a film with a core. A Serbian film felt like it was very paper thin. It felt like the characters weren't that likable. You didn't connect with them. You didn't invest your time in them. What it was is basically just shocking you. It's like the aristocrats joke, where you make it as disgusting as possible, and that's it. And basically, a Serbian film is the aristocrats joke, whereas this movie has a lot more attention to detail. It feels like it has a purpose, and that purpose is showing you the gulf in differences between the upper class and the lower class. Basically, this band consisted of these individuals who'd been rejected by society, and for that reason you feel that there must be something wrong with them. And then on the other hand, you've got Dries, who is a very well-known author. He's got a beautiful wife, a big mansion. Straight away you think that he's clean. And this is what the film does to you, is that it makes you feel bad for judging something on first impressions. And the first impressions is that Dries isn't as good as you think he might be. Although he's from an upper class, he's no different from these band members because he's stooping down to those levels. And these band members, yes, you can hate them for what they're doing. They do some horrible violence against women. They humiliate disabled people. They humiliate homosexuals. So there's all that material and recipe for someone you absolutely hate. But you feel to yourself that these are the rejects of society. This is what society has done to these people. And it's sad because it happens all over the place, not only in Belgium, not only in this film, but it happens everywhere. And it's an eye-opener for society, in that if you just push someone aside and you say that it's not your problem, then this is contributing to the problem. This is contributing to the monsters that is generated from the sheer fact that they're desperate. And that's what this is. These three band members, they have their problems, but it's brought about because of their situation. I'm not condoning it. I'm not saying that's an excuse for doing what they were doing, but basically society has to take responsibility for what it does to these sorts of people. If you're just going to forget someone, if you're going to pretend that they don't exist, then bad things are going to happen, and that's exactly what happens in this film. I thought Dries' character, while it was very good, The beauty of it is that each and every character is good as one another. So you're not concentrating on one specific person, which is why the film works so well. Is that you've got a lot of other films where you've got the main character and you like him so much, and the rest of the characters don't mean anything. It feels like all the attention to detail has been thrust into one person. So when that one person isn't on screen, you're waiting for him to come back, so you don't really care what's happening in front of you. But in this movie, because the director hasn't labelled any one particular character as being better than the other, each and every scene you invest your time in it. You're intrigued by it. All these people are very rich in colour and depth. You feel that it's a psychiatrist's dream to be able to get these people on the sofa and be able to talk to them. And that's exactly what you feel. You want to know why these people have become what they are. And it's basically showing you the worst side of humanity, but at the same time it's level-headed because it feels like the movie has a purpose. It is a movie that you survive. It's not a movie that you enjoy. As I said, very graphic violence. There's some violence that really rattled me. I wasn't expecting it, and for that reason, you never know what's around the corner. There's a very graphic rape scene. There are some very explicit sex scenes. So it is a movie that is definitely sort of the more hardcore, extreme sort of fan this movie will only apply to. If you're only a casual fan of mainstream Hollywood, Ex-Drama is definitely a movie not for you. It is very repulsive, and it's a movie that is going to offend a lot of people. The director doesn't care about who he offends. He's basically making a movie that's showing you how society is, and for that I can appreciate it. I thought the script was fantastic. It's a dark comedy. You're laughing at things that you really shouldn't be laughing at, so I love that aspect of it. There are a few camera angles that initially will get you angry because they are a little bit irritating, but once again, that's the first impression sort of rule that the film has, in that, yeah, the camera angle to start with is annoying, but it grows on you. As the movie snowballs, the plot thickens, it starts to blend in that what appeared to be a distraction at the start of the film has been made into basically just disappeared into the background. You don't notice it because you're so far into the story that what annoyed you at the start where you didn't know so much about it is now irrelevant. So that is the sign of a fantastic filmmaker. He's combined also a lot of music. It's a punk sort of music film, so if you like that style of music, you're going to appreciate that. And I just thought the ending was just a great way to cap off what was a great experience. I loved Ex-Drama. I can see a lot of people absolutely despising this because it does show you the bad side of humanity. It shows you the side that a lot of people pretend is not there, but it's always there. And I think the sooner that society kind of just stops pushing them aside, I think less and less of these sorts of people are going to be forced to do such desperate things. So it is a film that is going to make you scratch your head and think. It is so much more than just an extremely shocking film. Yes, it is a shock film, but at the same time, it feels like a film with a purpose. So overall, for Ex-Drama, I'm going to give it 4.5 stars. I really liked it, and I highly, highly recommend it. Alright guys, that's my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later. Bye.